Hey guys, it's Realistic here, and I'm Ray. So, I'm actually going to jump into this video, but I'm going to try to make it actually kind of short for you guys, because I know my deck profile seems to be kind of long, but, yeah, this is the long-awaited, Ojama. I don't know if it's long-awaited, but this is my Ojama deck, and, so basically, this is actually my third time doing this deck, and, which is kind of weird. I know the last video I did with Bogey, and that was, that was like way too long. It was like 18 minutes or something, so sorry about that, Bogey. But you know, this deck is very fun, and yeah, I'll be going over the basics. Just let me start out the cards really quickly. But this deck is really fun, but it's quite tricky. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into the monsters. So for the monsters, we're gonna start out with 2 Snipe Hunters. So ooh, that's glare. Ooh, that's some glare. Try moving the light a bit. Okay, good. Okay, so 2 Snipe Hunters. Now, why Snipe Hunters? Why this pesky little card? Why should I run this? Well, this card is actually it's a decent card by itself because you get potential 1-for-1s, but what this card lets you do is that basically in this deck has a lot of potential because you have a lot of dead Ojama normals in your hand, which sadly without the combo pieces they can't really do anything on their own, so if you dead draw to them you can't really do much with them. And also it's good for ditching Ojama magic so you can get the effect off, and I'll be going over that a bit later. So yeah, it's a very good card, and just remember that it is dark attribute. Ooh, dark attribute. So yeah, and then now we're gonna move on to the Ojamas. So the powerhouse of the deck, Ojama Blue. So in every build you want to run 3 of these, and basically it's pretty broke. It's like a super Sangam for the deck in a sense, because when it dies you just use its effect and you search any 2 Ojama cards. So basically it's a base, it's a auto +1. If you use like something like creature swap, you can get a lot of really fun, you can do a lot of really fun things with it. So yeah, this card's really sneaky, and also remember it's an Ojama, so it can be targeted by itself and stuff like this sort. Now, now I'm gonna move on to our 2 Ojama Reds. So, this little guy is your combo maker. So, you play Ojama Red, and then you get all your so its effect you get to summon as many Ojamas. So you play your Ojamas, and Ojama Delta Hero Chain and stuff. Now, actually, I'm gonna be posting a link on how to do an Ojama OTK. So that's gonna be posted around somewhere over here-ish. But yeah, that's gonna be really fun, and I'll show you like the in and outs of it in one quick video, so I don't add too much onto this video. Now moving on to the Ojama normals. So these are the 3 Ojama normals: Ojama Yellow, Ojama Green, and Ojama Black. So basically these guys don't really do anything by themselves, but they're really cool looking, and well, if you think so. My friend hated this one because he thought it was flipping him off. And yeah, but basically these are nice little, I don't know what you call them, beasts, and for some reason they're light. But yeah, you can do a lot of really fun things with them, and they're, in a sense, the core of the deck. And we're going to run 2 of each, and the rest are right here. So yeah, just remember that they're dead in your hand, so you don't want to run more than 2 copies. But if you run 1 copy, then it's really risky, because if you lose one of them, then you're pretty much, you can't really do the combo anymore without Avarice. Okay, moving on to the Ojama support cards. I'll be going over more darks, 2 Junk Synchrons. Now, this card is really good in the deck, especially since each of the Ojama monsters is level, oh, not that guy, is level 2. So what does this mean? If you have an Ojama in the grave, then basically you have it in the grave, you play this guy, you play this, and then you can sync for Frozen Fitzgerald or maybe Catastor. And yeah, it's a really fun card in general, and it can open up new Synchro possibilities too, like maybe Black Rose and such. But yeah, it's a neat little card, and just remember it is a dark. So the next card, you might be a little surprised by this, you might have seen it before, but it's a Morphing Jar. And yeah, this is obviously a Morphing Jar. This is not a future fusion that I happen to turn over because it was banned, because everyone knows that Future Fusion is entirely balanced. But actually, Future Fusion in this deck was kind of balanced in a sense. Like, it wasn't really broke because you could put your stuff in the grave and Ojama, free Ojama King, and you can try white, but it wasn't broke. But anyways, Morphine Jar is really good in the deck, and also it's level 2, so basically, since this deck is really fast, like some people say it quote-unquote doesn't have stamina, and basically you can set this guy, if they read a blue, they won't, if they think it's a blue, then they won't attack it, and then you can, on your turn, you can flip. They might or might not be able, it depends if they have one or not, and if they want to use it. And then so you ditch your cards, so you want to set up for it obviously, so usually you'll have maybe dead Ojamas in your hand, or maybe you'll have you just have no cards in your hand, and then you can just get like a +5 or something of the sort. So this card's really fun, and it helps you come back if your OTK fails and such stuff like that. Okay, now 3 more monsters left. I'll do this guy for last. This is Sangan. So Sangan's really good in the deck because you want to search as much as possible, and this lets you. It's kind of like a blue in a sense. It can also search out blue, and it's really good in getting maybe a Snipe Hunter if you're in trouble, and it's also good for Synchro summoning if you have a Junk Synchron. So yeah, it's just a fun little card in general. People usually read blue when I said it, so I can do cool stuff with it. Okay, next, Tragodia. So Tragodia is a very interesting card. It basically, it has attack and defense based on your hand, right? So what this deck can do, if you're in the right scenario, is that you could have like maybe 10 cards in your hand. It's happened to me before, and basically this little guy or girl spider thing will be bumped up to crazy, and you can just poke or stall for a long time. So it's really fun. You will have to discard cards from your hand, but still, I mean, it's a good option. It also stops like OTKs and such. And the level modulation and taking control is pretty cool, but most of their monsters will not be level 2 as most of our monsters are level 2 as their Ojamas. Okay, so the last card, you might have seen this too, is the Swordsman of Landstar. So actually I'm not running Swordsman of Landstar because that would be just a joke, but Swordsman of Landstar lets me, it's not Swordsman of Landstar, it's actually BLS. So a little cool thing is that I thought this was BLS when he was like younger, like a kid. So I don't know, just tell me what you guys think, but yeah, BLS is just good in pretty much every deck that can run lights and darks, like Veilers and such. And basically you can play him if your OTK fails, and it might help you win, or it's just a good it's a good card in general. You can help secure a win with it and banish pesky things like Zen main. So yeah, it's just a strong card in general, and there's not really much of a reason not to run it. Okay, that's it for the monsters, and we're going to be moving on to the spells. So the spells are actually the bulk of the deck. So another key card is Ojama Country. So it kind of does what the name implies. It does stuff related to Ojamas. Well, yeah, obviously, but basically you can revive Ojamas with it, and it's by ditching an Ojama card and revive an Ojama from the grave. So that's really, really neat if you bring back something like Ojama King or Ojama Knight, which both have like 2500 defense and 3000 attack. So why is this good? Because if you have an Ojama on the field, all the attack and defense of all monsters is going to be switched. So that's really, really cool, especially since most monsters don't have a lot of attack and defense. Okay, so that's just a really important card that's neat. And another kind of people have been saying that this is broke, so I know it's pretty strong, but without it, Ojamas probably wouldn't work. But yeah, Oja Magic, or Ojama Magic, like I like to call it Ojama Magic. So basically, the thing about it is that you can't actually activate it. I remember when I started, I thought you could activate it, but no, that's not true. You it has to be set and then destroyed, like by an MST or something, or it has to be sent from the hands of the grave, like through card destruction or something. So yeah, it's you can search with blue, and it's a nice like +2, +3 type of thing. And yeah, it just lets you set up your combo more. It's just a fun card. You're not gonna run in triplets because that'd just be complete overkill. Okay, let's see. Moving on, we have Ojama Delta Hurricane. Now, this card may seem a bit situational, but it's actually pretty easy to get all the Ojama guys on the Ojama Green, Ojama Black, Ojama Yellow on your field at the same time. So you can just do this if they don't have a response, and you pretty much you have a good chance of winning the duel. And we can shut down their traps too through like Decree and stuff, which I'll be going over a bit later. And let's see, what do we have? Oh, a Tri-White. So if your OTK fails or something of the sort, or if you're just going to late game and you need a comeback, this is your card. This is your go-to card, because if you play that, then if you have an Ojama Delta Hurricane in your hand, then you just play, and then you play that, and then you kind of win in a sense. But yeah, it's just crazy good. But I don't run it more than one, even though it's really strong, because it can be very dead early game. Okay, next card, Pot of Avarice. Now, Pot of Avarice is very strong in this deck. It's strong in general, but I think it's especially strong in this deck because you go through your cards so quickly, and it's good to get those, what is it, yellows, blacks, reds, and greens back in your deck, so you can search them again with Ojama magic, or hopefully draw into like a red again to use its effect. So that's, as it only goes off if it's a normal summon. So yeah, it's a really fun card, and I feel that has a very key place in this deck. Okay, so the next two cards, which people may think is kind of troll, but yeah, Creature Swap is just it's just a good card for almost every deck that can utilize it effectively. Well, good for any deck that runs like kind of weak monsters, and it's really good against specific matchups like what is it, dragons and Dragoonity. Just anything that focuses on like a key monster, and basically you swap their blue, or you swap them a Sangan or a blue, and then you win. Essentially, well, you win, like, yeah, you don't win the duel, but you just have a lot of advantage if like the attack goes through and stuff. Okay, now moving on, this is also essential to the OTK, Super Poly, and it's also very good because heroes are quite strong. So I don't actually have any E heroes right now, but it might be good to main or side some E hero fusions. So yeah, it's just a neat card in general. This card isn't really much of a thing, and it's also quick play, which is pretty darn cool. Now, card destruction. So why are you running card destruction? This isn't Dark Worlds, this is Ojama. So are you crazy? You're gonna lose, dude. Well, the thing about card destruction is that, of course, it's really broken Dark Worlds. I admit to that, and if they get one of these, like a good card destruction off, they pretty much win. But basically, card destruction in this deck, it's good because you really need to recycle cards, and you may interrupt their plans. But remember, don't play it early game, because if they're playing Dark World, then you're pretty much screwed, and you pretty much lost. Okay, now moving on. Let's see. I think these are all staples. So we're going over one Heavy Storm. Pretty good in this deck because you want to clear their stuff, so you can go for Ojama Delta Hurricane in your OTK, and 2 MST because Spell and Trap Destruction is very key in this deck. I don't run more than 2 because I already have other trap hate. Yeah, but 2 is a good amount in my opinion, so you can hit like field cards and such. Next, Monster Reborn, really broke. Maybe if you get back a BLS, you win. And a Dark Hole, dropped. Oh yeah, Dark Hole, just good to turn the tide in almost any duel. It's pretty cool in general. Okay, now I'll be going over my last 3 cards. So I have 2 Royal two Royal Decrees. Royal Decrees, a very, very strong card, and people do not expect it game 1. So if they're running a trap deck, then they pretty much lost the first game. And what you can do with this card is that you can shut down their whole back row if they're back row heavy, and just Ojama Delta Hurricane the heck out of it, or you can just Snipe Hunter too if you're feeling kind of aggressive. But yeah, it's a very fun card, and just watch out for MST. And the final card is Trap Zone. So it pretty much does the same thing as Royal Decree, except it's chainable, so that's pretty cool. And you can also use it to bluff, because I know once I played it, and some guy Solemn Judgment it, even though I didn't really have a plan, but I mean, he Solemn Judgment it. So it was pretty darn funny. Now I'm going to be going over my extra deck before we run out of time. So these are 3 Gachis. The other one's somewhere else, but yeah, it's a really fun card in general. You spam rank 2s. Ojama King, Ojama Knight, Ojama King, Ojama Knight. Pretty much self-explanatory. You get them with like Super Poly and stuff. You can have fun with that. And then Frozen Fitzgerald is pretty much made for the deck, and all this junk stuff just because you can spam junk Synchron. So yeah, I mean, this deck has quite a bit of cons, but I mean, it's very strong, and you should definitely invest in a Ojama deck if you're feeling like having a good time. See you guys.